We're going to make Italian shortbread cookies. They actually have dried fruit in them, so let's get started. First, start off with a small bowl, and in that small bowl you're going to put 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. So that was 2 1/4 cups. You're also going to put 1 teaspoon of salt in with the flour. And then just stir and mix that up with your spoon or your spatula. And we're going to set that aside for the moment. Next, you're going to need a large bowl. Now you can do this with your hand mixer or your stand-up, whatever you prefer. But we're going to start off with 2 sticks of unsalted butter that's been at room temperature. And I'm going to put that into my large bowl. Then with my mixer, I'm going to start to break up the butter and to start to cream it. And I'm going to do that on high. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly start putting in 2/3 of a cup of granulated sugar into my bowl. And cream the butter and the sugar together. And that was 2/3. That's the rest of the sugar. I'm just going to raise my speed a little bit and bring this all together, getting to the bottom of the bowl and working those sides. So it'll look like this. The next thing that you're going to put in is 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And just beat that in. Now, what you'd like to do is really to beat this for about 1 minute. I really find that if you do beat it for a minute, the cookies tend to come out lighter in texture. But due to the video, of course, I'm going to move it along. But try beating it for about 1 minute in your bowl. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put in a 1/2 cup of dried cranberries. And just combine them, mix them together. The next thing you're going to put in is a cup of dried cherries. A 1/2 cup rather. 1/2 cup of cranberries and a 1/2 cup of cherries. The last thing that you're going to put in is a cup of nuts. Now, you can put a cup of pistachio nuts, or almonds, or pecans, or walnuts. It's really up to you of the choice of nut that you want. And just mix this all together in your bowl, and it'll look like this. And now we're going to slowly add our dry to our wet ingredients. You don't want to overbeat this. You just really want to combine it. I'll try to raise my speed a little bit because it's getting heavier and thick. Put the rest of the flour in. And combine it into the cookie dough that's forming. I'm going to raise my speed just a little bit, get to the bottom of that bowl and working those sides. And then with my spatula, I'll just make sure that all the flour gets mixed in to the dough. Now the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to need a piece of wax paper. And you're going to need that to be at least about 22 to 24 inches long. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the raw cookie dough and you're just going to lay it down onto your wax paper. And with your clean hands, just form a rectangle about 4 inches wide. I want to get the rest of this cookie dough out of the bowl. And get rid of the bowl. Then with a little bit of flour on your hands, just take that into a rectangle, about 4 inches. Then dust it with a little bit of flour. I like to just bring it together a little bit, because what you want to do is to actually roll this in your wax paper and then just start squeezing it. What you want this to do is to form a log, and you want the log to at least be 18 inches. And it's going to take you a few minutes just to keep squeezing in the center and working the sides so they're nice and even until you come to 18 inches. Now what you're going to do once that you get the shape that you want and the length of 18 inches, I'm just going to bring it together a little bit more and stretch that out. You'll want to just even out the edges with your palms of your hands, and then twist the edges, and then put this in your freezer. And you want to keep it in there for at least 10 minutes or even up to an hour so that it's easy for you to be able to cut them when it comes out of the freezer. Now if you don't want to bake them the same day, just wrap it in a plastic wrap and put it in your freezer, and you can bake it another day, or the frozen dough can keep in your freezer for probably about 2 weeks. So if you don't want to bake and you want to make the cookies ahead of time, then it's just a matter of taking them out of your freezer and slicing them. Now I have one that has been in the freezer, and I'm going to take that out, and it will look like this. And then what you want to do is just unwrap it, the cookie dough from your wax paper, and lay the cookie log on your countertop. And with a sharp knife, you're going to cut the cookies about 1/4 of an inch. Now you can make them thicker if you want, it's up to you. It's just the baking times will take you longer. You're going to need a cookie sheet or a pan, and then go ahead and lightly spray it. You're going to put the oven at 350 degrees to preheat it. When the cookies finally go into the oven though, bring your temperature down to 325. And that's when you're going to be baking them anywhere from about 10 minutes to 15 minutes, depending on how your oven sets up. So again, you just slice it off. Put your cookies about 1 inch apart. They're not going to really spread, but you don't want them too close either. And again, just 1/4 of an inch, unless you want to make your cookies thicker, they will take additional baking time. And just cut them off and put them on your tray. And again at 350, and then to preheat, and then once they go into the oven, bring the temperature down to 325. When they do bake up, you want them just to be a pale color on the top and just lightly brown edges. They won't come out with real brown tops. Now I have some made to show you. what they look like when they're finished. And here they are. The bottoms are a very pretty golden brown, and you have Italian shortbread fruit cookies. It's an easy recipe to make. I hope you like this one. If you do, let me hear from you. Leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.